so far. Let's pick up right where we stopped yesterday and continue our journey through React. Over to you, Thanaruby.
Thank you, Varsha. Today we are going to look into Redux, state management library. Before that, we got a question from Krishant whether we can use NPM for yarn. Of course, we can use NPM. Just the difference is yarn is comparatively new and fast, but they both are package managers. So you can use it. If you want any help in resolving your issue, you can wait after this series ended. We can discuss what your issue is. So now we will start with our Redux. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So yesterday we looked into routers. I have made some changes for the same router, and I'll start my program. I'm going to use yarn start. So what I have just done is I have just created two components and named them as home and employee. So I have created these two pages. Today, what our scenario going to be is we have a site where we have a company page and another employee page. And we are going to have our state in Redux, which is outside of all the component, so that we can get and manipulate variables state from Redux. So what I'm going to do is I have a home page. I'm going to do the coding for the company inside home page, and I have an employee page. So I'll go to my code. I have these two pages here. I'm just going to create them as separate pages. So I'll create new file, home.jsx, and I'm just going to copy this in this file and export this as default. Export default home. So I'm going to import that in my app page. So import home from home, and also I'm going to create employees page. So new file dot jsx, and I'm going to paste it there and export default employees. And I'm going to import that here. Employees from employees. So I have these two pages here. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to set up the environment for my state, the external state. I'm going to create a folder called store. You can actually name it anything, but this is conventional. So I'm going to create a folder inside my source folder and name it store. So in my state, what I'm going to have is state which are related to the company component and also the employee component. Both are going to reside inside my state. First, I'm going to create the files which are needed for them. So I'm going to create a folder inside my store folder and name it company, and another folder and name it employee. So these component related state related actions are going to reside inside these files. I'm going to create 3 files inside my employee folder. Last day we looked into it, something called action creator, reducer, selector, and store. Inside my employee folder, I'm going to create a file for my selectors, one file for my selectors. So new file, I'm going to name it selector.js, and another file for my action.js, and another file for my
Recording stopped.
.js. So let's look how we are going to work inside these files.
Recording in progress.
So last day we looked, this reducer is a function that accepts current state and action. Then our selectors, with the help of our selectors, we can select some element from our state. And action creators are something that tells the reducer to do some action. So for this, what I'm going to do initially is I'm going to work with this reducer. So I'm going to get help from React and React Redux documentations. First, I'm going to add React, something called React Redux Toolkit, and also React Redux to my project. So this one and this one to my project. What is Redux Toolkit? Last day we looked into Redux and we went through the concept of Redux. Redux Toolkit is something that is a modern way. We don't need to specify the actions. There is something called slice creator that will, if we give a name for a function that will create the action for us, it may not be very understandable now. We'll look into it, how to create. So we'll add these libraries first. So yarn add toolkit, and next React Redux. So here, first I'm going to work on the reducer file. So I'm going to import something called, let's look here. We can get this code from their documentation itself in the Redux, their help documentation. So I'm just going to copy and paste this here. I'm going to copy all this code and paste it. I don't want this here, so they have a method called create slice. What this does for us is this create a slice of our state, whole state. This may not be very understandable now, but you will know how it works when you are working on it. So we'll start coding. So I'm going to remove all these things and I'm going to edit their code. The name of our slice is going to be employee, and initial state. This is the state of our employee component. We can write all the variables related to the employee component there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this thing. We are going to add employee array, employee details array inside our state. Initial state is, it will be empty. When we are adding, there will be some value. So initial state, empty state, and then reducers. I'll remove this and I'm going to create reducer related to my employee component. Say, what I want to do is, I want to remove one employee or else add one employee to my company. So I'll give a name, add employee, and another reducer called remove employee. So this is reducers. Here we have looked, reducers will have two properties, state, that is current state, and action. We'll look how this works, this action works in a while. As for now, we just want to know we can pass state and action for a reducer. So these are our reducers. We can manipulate our state inside this. For example, we have this employee's state. Say, I want to add an employee to my state. In that case, what I will do is state dot employee. Here we are getting the state. So we are getting, initially this state will come. So state dot employee equal. We are going to pass some value to our reducer through our action creators. We look how we are going to pass. for now, we'll look into only the reducers, how that is going to come here. So from action, this action will have payload, and we can pass payload through a function. So say I have passed one employee details here. So what I'm going to do is employees is an array, and say I have passed only one employee's detail. So I'm going to take like M, and I'm going to put that inside array. What I will do at this point is I have took the employee which I have passed here, but what I want to do is I also want the old state. So for that, I will destructure the current state and then add the new employee detail to this. This may be not kind of complicated, but don't worry. It will be clear in some more time. So this is how we create a reducer. I am also going to create action reducer and selector for my company component. So I'm just going to copy this and paste. Okay. Delete this and paste this here. Okay. Paste 2 times. Okay, I'm going to create the slice for my company. So I'm just going to rename it here, company slice, and I'm going to rename it there too. This is employee slice. And I'm going to name this slice as company, and I'm going to put these values in my initial state: name, number of employees, and yeah, I'm going to put both of them. Okay. Initially, it is going to be empty name, and employee is going to be 0. So in reducers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one reducer called load initial state. Load initial state. How normally it works is we normally get all the data from API, a backend. So we get from API and load the details to our state. So normally the initial state will be empty. When we get the details from API and loading, our state will be populated with those data. So for that, I am creating a reducer. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to state dot name equals action dot payload dot I'll put as name, okay, and these both doesn't have to be same name. I can give some other name too. And here, what is this? We have looked something called actions. So when we create reducers, our create slice function creates some actions for us. So from this is not counter slice, this has to be company slice dot action. So if we call this, we can get some actions from here. I'm going to name those actions. I'll get only one action because I have only one reducer. So I'm going to give this name, and also I have to edit it there. Employee slice, and I'm going to give these names to my two actions, and so my reducer part is done. I mean, I can write more reducers too. For now, I'm going to move to the other part. So, how to create a store with this reducer? I haven't create a store yet. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create the store in my app page. For that, we have something called configure store that we can import from toolkit. So I'm going to copy this both and paste here, configure store, and here. Okay. And I'm going to import the reducer. For now, I'm going to import this reducer to my app page. How to do that? For that, I have to export this company slice. So I'm going to export this as default export. Export default company slice. So I'm going to import this company slice to my app page. Import company slice from store, company, and reducers. In company slice, my reducer is, I can take my reducer as company slice dot reducer, because we have a reducer here. This is what we are going to use to configure our store. So we have configured our store. Our store is where our states reside. So we have to wrap our application with the store. For that, our toolkit gives us a method called provider. So we can get it provider. Okay. Provider. Sorry, it's not from React toolkit. It's from React Redux. We can get something called provider. So I'm going to take provider from React Redux and wrap it around my application. So what this means? This means throughout my whole application, I can use this store. This store contains all the state. So I can use the state in any page. I can use it in home page or employee page, or if I have any other page, I can use the store. So I have configured my store here. Now what I am going to do, I'm going to start my application now. Yeah. Start. My application is already running. So here, if I go here, okay. If I open my dev tool, if right click and inspect, then this will open. Here I have console element. I can check network, and also I can check Redux related variables here. For that, I have to install something called Redux for Chrome. Redux for Redux Dev Tool. So you can go here and add it to your Chrome. So from this, I can check my values of my state. You can see I have added the store to my application. So here, if I check the state, I have the name and number of employees. Why only the company state is coming to me? That is because I have added only the company reducer now. We'll see how to add all the reducers in some time. So for now, we are getting company components state in our Redux state. So this is our initial state. We haven't done any manipulations yet. So we are going to do some manipulation in our home page. Now say I want, say the scenario is I am getting some value from an API and adding that value to our company state. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go to my home page and add code for that. For that, say I want to add the initial state only once, not the initial state, the initial values of the state, which I get through an API only once. So to do that, can someone tell me if I want to do an action one time, how can I do that? I can use some hook here to run an action only one time. What is that hook? Okay, I can use effect hook here. So my action will run only once. So use effect and this is going to get a function. I can give a function inside. So, and I want this, whatever the code inside this to run only once. So I'm not going to give any dependency array. I can even give an empty array too, but that is not needed. So I'm going to give some code here. For now, I'm not going to use any API to get information. I'm going to hard code it. So I'm going to use, we have two variables in our state, so name and number of employees. I'm going to use const company name equals XYZ and const number of employees equals 5. Say I got these values from an API. But for now, I am hard coding it. We'll see how to use an API in a later session. So what I'm going to do here is, I want to tell the reducer to add these values to my state. How to do that? For that, we have to dispatch an action. What is that? In React Redux gives us two methods called useDispatch and useSelector. In this, we are going to use this useDispatch now. Import useDispatch. Okay, it has given us the code. What this useDispatch does is, it accepts an action creator. How that is done is, we'll create an action creator inside our action file. So I'm going to call it load initial values. Const load initial values equals, this action creator will accept something called dispatch, and this is going to tell the reducer to do a specific action. So I'm going to give dispatch here, and I'm going to use this dispatch to dispatch an action. We have some actions in our reducer file. When we create reducers, it gave us some actions. So I'm going to use this action in my action creator. So here, I'm going to import it. Import load initial state from reducer. So I am telling the reducer to do some action. But if I see here, I'm giving passing payload through this reducer. So how to do that? I'm going to go to this action creator, and I'm going to simply pass my values here. So I want to pass number of employees and name through my action creator. So, but this action creator only accepts something called dispatch and does an action. How to pass a variable for this function. For that, we have to create a wrapper function. How that is created? Let's see. Const. I'll name that as values wrapper. And what this function is going to do is, this is going to accept two values called name and number of employee, and this function is going to return this action creator function. Return the action creator. So I'm just going to comment it out. So this wrapper function takes two arguments and return an action creator. So here I can pass these two values here. So this is what I want. So this is done. I'm just going to remove this name wrapper. I'm going to keep it as load initial values. So I can use this function inside my use dispatch. We'll see how to use it there. Before that, we don't really need to, if we are returning only one value, we don't really need to give return statement and curly brackets. So I'm going to remove it here. We can write a wrapper function like this. Equal the parameters we are passing for the wrapper function, and this is the parameter we are passing for the inner function, and this is the function we are returning. So this function will return a function. So here I'm going to use this function in my home page. So inside use dispatch, I want an action creator. So how to get my action creator? I have to call this wrapper function with the arguments needed. So my first argument is name and second argument is number of employees. I want to import this. Import from so a company and action. It's not linked by, because I didn't export the function. Export. Okay, now it should be linked. If I go to home page, it is linked. Here, there is some error. So we'll see why this error comes. We have given an action creator here. I mean, a wrapper function for the action creator, which gives us an action creator. But why this error? Because we are using this outside our use effect, so we don't have those variables. Now, okay, we have to, okay. We are getting another error. Why is that? most probably because we can't use the dispatch inside a hook, another hook. So what we are going to do here? Sorry, my bad. How we are going to use this use dispatch? We can't use like this. That's why this error is coming. What we are going to do is, I'm going to create a variable named dispatch. I can use any other name too. I'm going to use the name dispatch. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to call the use dispatch function. Now I can use this inside effect, another hook. I can use that inside use effect. So what this is going to do is, this is going to update the state. In my initial state is company name empty and number of employees equals 0. When I run home page, this code is going to run once, and this is going to update my state. Now we'll check here. I'm going to refresh it here. My state is not visible here. There must be some error. So I'm going to look why my state is not there. So if I go to Redux, my payload is going, type is okay. So what is the error here? Dispatch, load initial values. My action creator tells the dispatches an action, load initial state. So this should, if I go to reducers, this should update my status, state. So the names I'm using is name and number of employees. Is that the same thing I'm using here? Yes, name and number of employees. So let's check it here now. Still, I have some error. My state is appearing and it goes away. So why that happens? Let's see. So when I didn't have this code inside use effect, my state appeared, but the error is somewhere in this code. That's why my state disappears again. So I'm going to debug this part of code. So I'm getting dispatch from use dispatch from React Redux. Okay. So dispatch is okay. I'm giving this action created to my use dispatch. That is also okay because I'm giving this. And if I go to home page, but still an error is coming. Why is that? Action. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to reducer and check my action. Option L. Okay, I have logged my action here. I'm just going to see my console. What are logged here? So payload says XYZ, but my payload has to come like an object. So that is the error. Why it says XYZ? Okay, I didn't give that as an object here. It has to be an object with, okay. In my reducer, I can give only one payload. I can't give two arguments here. It is always only one argument. So I have given two here. That is the reason my state is not appearing. So what I am going to do is, I am going to give an object, only one argument, that is an object with two values. There, the name is going to be name equals name and number of employees equals number of employees. I can use like this, or else I can even use like this too. I can pass like name, comma, number of employees. So this should populate my state. If I go here, now I got name as XYZ, number of employees as 5. So what we have done until now, we have created a state with empty values, and when I am going to home page, I am populating our state with initial values. Here in my application, now I am going to employee page, another page. So when I am going to employee page also, my state didn't change. It is still the same. So I can use my state from this page too. This state will be common, but outside all of my components. So if I want to get the number of employees from employees page, I can do that. So we'll do that. We'll go to employees page, and to get the value from my state, what I will do is I'm going to use something called use selector. So import use selector from React Redux. And const number m equals use selector. This is going to accept a selector function. We'll see how to write a selector function. So inside this, I'm going to write a selector function, const get or select number of m equals this is a function that is going to accept state and we know our application state. So from state, I'm going to get state dot number of employee. What's the name of our state? Okay, I'll copy this. Number of employee. I'm going to select this from our state. So we are going to use this selector in our use selector hook. I'm going to import this. Import number of employee from state, store and company and select. Did we export it? No. So export, and now this should work. So we have got the number of employee from our state. I'm going to display this here. So yeah, now this is displayed in employee page. But we have actually populated our state in our home page. Now when we are going to employee page, I can get that value from my state and use it. So because this Redux is a common state, we can use it in any page or any component. We don't need to pass it through anything. We can just get it from our common state and use it and manipulate it. So here we have two component state, but in our state there is only one component related state. We'll see how to get the other state, other component related state. For that, we have something called combine reducer. If I'll go to app page here, and we have given the reducer here. I have given only the company components reducer, but what I want to do is I want to give all the components reducers to this configure store. For that, what I'm going to do is inside my store, I'm going to create a new file called reducers, and I'm going to get all the reducers and combine it. For that, I'm going to get import something called combine reducer from Redux. Give me a second. I have to import like React Redux. Okay. Here. Combine. It has to. Give me a second. Maybe it has to come from toolkit. Okay. Sorry, that is actually from toolkit. That is combine reducers. I'm going to import combine reducers from Redux toolkit. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to name my combine reducers, all reducers equals to, I'm going to use this function, and inside this, sorry, this is going to be a function. Inside this, I'm going to give an object. So here I'm going to specify my company state as company and give my company's reducer here. So I'm going to import company slice. This is default export, so it has to be like this. Company slice from company and reducers, and also I'm going to import employee slice from employee and reducer. So company slice dot reducer, and I'm going to name my employee reducer as employee, and employee slice dot reducer. So there seems to be some issue here because of these colors. So company slice dot reducer. Have I imported the company slice and exported company slice and employee slice from related files? Let me check. Company slice is imported. Reduce. I haven't imported this. Exported this. So export default employee slice. So I have exported this too. So if I go here now, this is all right. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use this combined reducer when I'm configuring my store. So for this reducer, I'm going to give my old reducer and I'm going to import this. So did I export that? No. So export default old reducer, and I'm coming to my app page, and old reducer from store reducers. Okay, so I'm using both of the component state. Let me check now. Now if I check my state, I can see the company's state and also the employee component state. So even if I go to home page, I'll have all the state, and if I go to employee page, then also I'll have all the state. I can manipulate them with action. Likewise, we manipulated here like this. We can manipulate our state with use dispatch and action, and we can get details from our state like this with the help of use selector. So the state management helps to bring all our state to a specific place where we can manipulate and get state from it from all the component. So that's why it is very useful for us. So this is the basic of Redux toolkit. Redux, React Redux and Redux. So please look into this and try it out. Maybe I can give this code for you guys so you can get help from it. How I can do it. Okay, I can import it to Git, but you guys have to know Git. I'll give these files to the organizers. If you want, you can get these files from them and try this out. Yeah, anybody have any question to ask? This may seems a little not very clear because these concepts all are from the library. We don't really need to understand anything from it. We just need to know this is how it is done. We can get help from their documentations, Redux and React Redux. If we learn it, this is very helpful. This is used in all the systems. So this will be very useful when you code your project too. So it's just that we need to know this is how it is done. We don't really need to try to understand much in it. So with this, I'll bind up. So I'll give the control to Varsha. Thank you. Varsha, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Akka. Thank you all for joining with us. And as Akka said, we'll share the resources with you all to practice. Make sure you all get the hang of it before the next session. And also we'll be sharing the recording as well if you request. So you can get that too. So let's meet in our next session on Friday. Have a good night. Bye.